Hello everybody, this is going to be another video where we take a look at the 2024 presidential election based on the polls. And this time we've got Joe Biden for the Democrats. And since there's been some buzz lately around Nikki Haley, we're going to throw her in for the Republicans. This is just based on whatever polling data I could find. Now, a couple things to know. Some states did not have any polling data between these two in a head-to-head matchup. So when I couldn't find any data, I just defaulted to the 2020 margin. Other states had old or very little data. And sometimes that poll might have a lot of undecideds. If there are multiple polls, I try to average them out. So there's a lot less data than Biden versus Trump, but I took the time to go through it. I got a lot of the data from 538, Real Clear Politics, and Wikipedia. So with all that said, let's take a look at this map. And again, this is not my map. In fact, I don't think this would be anybody's map. It's gonna get crazy, but this is what I've got as of late December. So first, we're gonna put all the safe states in, and these are gonna be over a 10-point margin. So nothing is gonna be different for Biden. He's going to pick up the usual West Coast, a lot of the East Coast, Illinois, and also Colorado and New Mexico. I couldn't find any data, so they're going to get the safe margin from 2020. Virginia is another state that there was just not really any data on, so it's barely going to go 10 for Biden. Now, if we do the safe states for Haley, I'm going to put in her usual states, and I'm also going to leave out any of the battleground states till the end. So she's going to get everything from Alaska and Idaho in the west, all the way to West Virginia and her home state of South Carolina in the east. There's a lot of states. So far, there's nothing unusual yet. If we go down to the likely states, these are between a 5 and a 10-point margin. There's not that many, but for Biden, he's going to get Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. Without any data, it's going to go back to the 2020 margin. It's going to be the same story in Minnesota. It's going to be over 5 for Biden. And last, we're going to go all the way to the northeast and do Maine at large. He's getting the 1st district safe. At large is going to be likely. Now, if we do the likely states for Haley, leaving out the battlegrounds, there's only one state. That is Iowa. And that's another one where there was just not really any polling, so we're going to leave that as likely for Haley. Now, for the rest of these states, we're going to start in Nevada and go counterclockwise around through the Rust Belt. So Nevada, that is actually going to go likely for Nikki Haley. Next door in Arizona, that is going to be the same margin, over 5, likely for Haley. Those are two states where the polling just does not look good for Biden, so Haley is going to win those comfortably. Next, let's take a look at the Lone Star State, Texas. There's not a substantial amount of data here, but with what I found, there was a lot of undecideds. However, in the head-to-head matchup, it was actually Biden leading by a low single-digit margin. So Texas is going to go leans for Biden. That's under a 5-point margin. That is a complete surprise, especially with Nevada and Arizona going likely for Haley. Next, let's go to Florida. Not a whole lot to say. It's going to go leans for Haley. If we go up to the key battleground of Georgia, once you try to even out all the polls, it does go to Haley. She gets it by a lean margin. Now we go to North Carolina. Like a lot of these states, North Carolina could use a lot more polling, especially between Biden and Haley, but from what I can find, she does pick it up by a lean margin. Now, if we continue all the way to the northeast corner, she is going to get Maine 2nd, and it's going to be by a likely margin because there was no data. Now, how about New Hampshire? For this one, let's actually take a look at the polls. So in just a two-way race, Emerson has Haley up 6, so technically that should go likely for Haley. However, if you go down a little bit further, there's another poll down here from the University of New Hampshire Survey Center, and that one actually shows an extremely different outcome. That has Biden ahead by 16. So not the most helpful polls, but if you even those out, we've got to come back, and we're going to give this to Biden by a lean margin. Next state, Pennsylvania. This is one where if you take a look at the polls, it's completely surprising, but Haley is actually beating Biden by more than 5 points, so that is going to go likely for Haley. However, if we go next door to Ohio, with a lot of undecideds, there's only one recent poll, and it actually shows Biden beating Nikki Haley by 2 points. It's the same poll that showed Biden beating DeSantis, but Trump in that very same poll is beating Biden by 7. I wish we had more polls, but if we're just going to use that, then Ohio is stunningly going to go leans for Biden, while its neighbor Pennsylvania goes likely for Haley. Now we've got 2 states left, Wisconsin and Michigan. Let's pull up the Michigan polls. The most recent one here from a few weeks ago. This has Haley up by a massive 12 points, 50 to 38, and another poll from back in November shows Haley up by 11. No matter how you look at it, that is over 10 points, and that means Michigan is going to go safe for Haley. The last state is Wisconsin, and it's actually the same story. From whatever I could find, the average does come out to a low double-digit margin for Haley, so Wisconsin is also going to go safe red, and the final total based on this is 283 for Joe Biden, 255 for Nikki Haley. But do I think there's any chance this map could actually happen? No, I don't. I don't think anybody does. I've heard a lot of talk about Nikki Haley being weak in the Rust Belt compared to Donald Donald Trump. I think in the end, that's probably true, but as of right now, it looks like she's doing her strongest in the Rust Belt, even stronger than Nevada and Arizona, and her weakest position is in the Sun Belt and all the way down in Texas. So unless Ohio is all in on Trump or bust, and Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are all in on an establishment, more moderate type of Republican, then of course this map is not going to happen. I figured it was worth a look given Haley's rise in the polls over the past couple of months. I don't think she's going to be the nominee, and maybe she's at her peak right now, or maybe she does gain a little bit more. Biden has some ground to make up, and maybe we're actually all underestimating Nikki Haley. She could actually sweep the general election if she were the nominee. I don't think that's likely. I think it would be competitive, and we also have to consider how this map might look if there's third parties factored in. We could have 5 or 6 candidates on the ballot, and I'm also anxious to see the next Biden versus Trump polls. Almost anything could happen. We're going to follow it, but this is the map we've got right now. We'll see if and how things change in the future. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this map? We know there's no chance Texas and Ohio go to Biden, while Wisconsin and Michigan go safe for Haley. But other than that, how do you think she would do compared to Trump or DeSantis? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.